Champions League nights are back in N17. Spurs return to Europe's golden competition for the first time since the 2022-2023 season under Antonio Conte. Don't want to scare anyone or give anyone nightmares, but if you wind your minds back, last game we played in the Champions League was at home to AC Milan. We were 1-0 down on aggregate from the first leg. If you remember, I think when we went over there, we had Skip and Papsar in the middle, had an outstanding performance. We then brought it back. We had a 1-0 deficit to overturn. Antonio Conte doing Antonio Conte. Romero got sent off. I remember we were chasing a goal and he takes off Dejan Kulusevski and brings on Davison Sanchez. And I think he was just putting the nails in his own coffin back then. But as I said, we're not talking about the past anymore because Spurs are back in the big time, back in Europe's greatest competition. And yeah, it's time to be excited, man. Um, Obviously, on a bit of a negative side, I've seen the ticket sales are absolutely awful as well. I'm not going to the game myself anyway because I live too far and going off to work is just long. And I've seen the prices as well. The price for that for a Villarreal game is absolutely disgusting. So we need to get that out of the way first because once again, the fans are the ones that are paying the price, literally and physically, not being able to go to their game. And it's going to be a shame because it's looking like there's a lot of empty seats, and you never want that. Seeing as I said, we ain't been in there for what, 2 seasons, but nonetheless, we'll be watching it on TV anyway. And Spurs get their campaign underway against Villarreal. Villarreal side that's got uh, a former Juan Foyth. They've got Nicolas Pepe in their team. They've got an unnamed midfielder in his 30s, if you know what I mean. Playing for them that obviously play for the team down the road. Mano Solomon, of course, went on loan there on deadline day. Uh, Decent team. I think they sit about fifth in La Liga at the minute. They've had a few up and down results. I believe they played Atletico at the weekend, lost 2-0. Um, so I'm not going to sit here and say I know so much about Villarreal yet. I did watch them in a preseason game when they played against Arsenal because obviously they were winning, so I thought I might as well turn it on. They beat them 3-2. Um, Sort of sat back, soaked up pressure, and hit them on the counter attack. And I'm guessing that's probably the game plan they're going to be looking to employ tomorrow. So it's going to be a game once again where Spurs are going to have the impetus, going to have more of the ball, so they're going to have to break down teams. Obviously, they're going to have a lot more quality than some of the teams in the Premier League anyway. But obviously, going to sit back and defend, soak up pressure, and try and hit us on the break. So that's something that Spurs have got to take into account. Uh, Try and obviously, as I always say with these games as well, when teams want to sit back at you, if you get an early goal, it changes everything. But it's easier said than done anyway. So obviously, if we can get an early goal, that would be ideal. But as I say, you're gonna have to try and find your way past that block to create chances. Obviously, we've got the creative spark in Xavi Simons in our team now, so I'm not really expecting issues like Bournemouth. But as I said, this is Champions League. Every player lifts up their level for this, so I'm not expecting an easy game whatsoever. Of course, home advantage. Um, I'm hoping should play a factor, so we go into this game favourites. Definitely, we should. Um, but as I say, yeah, they got some experienced players in their team. Obviously, they played European football for a long time, and of course, we know Spanish teams are very technical anyway. In terms of starting 11, I'm not really sure because as we've seen all season with Thomas Frank, I think he's played a different way in every single game that we've played anyway. So I'm not really gonna second guess him. I'm gonna guess that he's probably gonna go with a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, whatever you want to look at it as. But who am I? I'd say it'd probably be a bit mental to play a five at the back, seeing as obviously, with all due respect to Villarreal, I'd say we're probably a team that are better than them. As I say, I ain't sat and watched Villarreal all season, so I can't put my hand on my heart and say that. But I'd go with a 4-2-3-1. Is this a game for a Paulinho? I'm not sure because obviously, let's not forget now we've got games after games after games. Obviously, we got a game tomorrow. Then we play against Brighton at the weekend. Then we got Doncaster, of course. We can rest quite a few of the squad there. And then we go into another Premier League game. And the games are just coming thick and fast. I think we got another Champions League game after that. So it's all about getting a rotation right. This is something that not players, sorry, fans slammed Ange for last season because you just run your team into the ground. So it's rotating the squad properly and doing it to the best of your ability without trying to diminish the without trying to diminish the quality of the team. Of course, the quality is going to drop when you take out certain players, but in terms of the defense, obviously the goalkeeper, I'm guessing Vicario is going to go in goal. Obviously, Kinski, I know, has not played yet. I don't think they'll play him. They're probably going to use him against Doncaster, but who am I to say that? I'm not sure. I'm guessing they're going to go with Vicario in goal. Right back, I don't know if he's going to go with a Jed Spence, because obviously Jed Spence, we did see him come off against West Ham. So is that an indication to say maybe we want to rest you so that we can play you against Villarreal? Obviously, as I said, they got Nicolas Pepe. I don't know who plays on the other wing for them. It could be a Man or Solomon, to be honest. So quite tricky defenders. So maybe you want that Jed Spence 1v1 ability. To me personally, I'm probably going to go Pedro Porro anyway. Obviously, we know he's an absolute tank. Touch wood, though, because it would just be our luck that he gets injured. Obviously, he played every single game last season as well. So you just hope he doesn't feel the burnout. But I'm probably going to go Pedro Porro, obviously Spanish. So obviously understands that Spanish style of play, if that does mean anything. But yeah, probably going to go Pedro Porro. I'm guessing the centre-backs sort of speak for themselves, Romero and Van der Ven. Maybe he takes out Van der Ven and plays Kevin Danso because, as I said, obviously we've got back-to-back games. The last thing we're going to want is an injury to one of them two. So maybe a Kevin Danso. Wouldn't be too opposed to seeing him coming in anyway. I think Destiny Udogie probably comes in from the start. Once again, he was on the bench against West Ham, came on for 20, 25 minutes. So I think that's an indication that he's probably going to start. The base of the midfield. Do you bring in Archie Gray? It's a weird one because obviously you could play with an Archie Gray and Bentancur. I believe, obviously, Bentancur didn't play at all at the weekend, which is great. Got to rest up fully, so I'm assuming Bentancur is also going to come into the lineup. I probably would be tempted to try Archie Gray in the middle there because, once again, you need minutes. Once again, it's good for rotation. And I think with this extended Champions League campaign, yes, of course, I'm not saying I want to lose, but you can afford to take a couple more risks, seeing as we've got 8 games. Whereas if you go back to the group stages, it was literally, if you got off to a bad start, you're pretty much under it. So you can afford to take a couple of risks. So I probably would start with Archie Gray and Bentancur in the middle, in that 2. On the left, I'm expecting to see Kolo Muani, to be honest. Or obviously Richarlison out there and vice versa. So if Richarlison's up top, then I want to see Kolo Muani. But if Richarlison's out wide, then I want to see Kolo up top. I want to see Xavi Simons in a 10. As I said about the creativity, obviously Villarreal do sit back a bit and we'll probably soak up pressure. Of course, we're going to have a lot more of the ball. So I want to see that creative spark that I know Xavi Simons can bring in. On the right-hand side, I don't know, take your pick. Brennan Johnson, Odebear. Brennan Johnson is best on the right-hand side. So maybe... Oh, what? Sorry, I completely forgot about Mohamed Kudus. Mo, I'm sorry. Yeah, Kudus, I'm guessing that's his position. Locked up, really, there. Yeah, so I'm probably going to go Mo Kudus. So the 3, Mo Kudus, Xavi Simons, Muani or Richarlison, and obviously then Richarlison or Muani in the number 9 position. I don't think Dom Solanke has recovered. I've seen a few pictures, obviously, of the open training that he was not training with the team, so I'm guessing he's still not fit, which is not good because obviously we saw the report saying that he might need surgery and there was fears about that, so let's hope that he doesn't need surgery. But yeah, that's my starting lineup. Score prediction 3-1. Yeah, 3-1 maybe. It'll be just I like Manos Solomon probably get that 1 goal, or that unnamed Premier League player in their 30s might score as well, because I have no doubt he's going to get an absolutely disgusting reception. As in, I'm not saying it's going to be disgusting from the fans. I'm saying as in every single touch of the ball is going to be booed and whistled to to the gods. So it would just be typical Spurs for him to get a goal. But yeah, I'm going to say 3-1. I'm expecting Spurs to win. I'm expecting Thomas Frank to have a nice little plan. I want to hear from you guys, though. Of course, please get involved in the comments. Let me know what your starting lineups would be. Who would you bring in? Answer a few of them questions I've asked as well. Were you playing Porro or Spence? Are you playing Archie Gray in the base? Are you taking Paulinho out? Would you play Muani? Is it time to bring Odebear into the fold? Obviously, Richarlison's pretty much the only striker we've got, and set for Muani. Who would you play there? Etc. Etc. Of course, like, comment, subscribe. If you're not already subscribed to my channel. Obviously, internet permitting, I haven't actually tried one yet, so I don't know if it's going to work, but I have no reason to think it shouldn't. Hopefully, I'm going to be doing a watch along for the game tomorrow, so obviously, whilst you're watching the game, if you want to slap mine on a little screen, put me up on a phone. Yeah, we're going to react to the game as well, so we'll be back tomorrow to watch that. Obviously, of course, up the Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Let's hope we get this Champions League run off to a cracking start. And then obviously we'll be back to review it afterwards. Peace and love, people.